As part of the modernization of the traffic system will be the introduction of a traffic enforcement center. The Traffic Enforcement Center plays a central role in the implementation of the provisions of the Motor Vehicles and Road Traffic Act of 2017. It will now be a permanent feature in the landscape of traffic law enforcement and back-end management for the new systems to be introduced.
The Traffic Enforcement Center will be a major hub for real-time connectivity for data sharing with the processing of red light and speed citation notices, the allocation and overall management of the demerit point system, and the administration of the new fixed penalty ticketing system in Trinidad and Tobago.
It is the gateway through which the software management system known as U-Turn shares real-time information among key state agencies including the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, the Judiciary of Trinidad and Tobago, and the Trinidad and Tobago Postal Corporation.
The Traffic Enforcement Center is the first of its kind in Trinidad and Tobago. Never before has a central agency existed to monitor and manage a technological platform that allows for a collaborative relationship among key state agencies.
U-Turn will, among other things, allow for the use of handheld devices by law enforcement officers to issue electronic traffic tickets. At the center, fixed penalty processing officers will monitor all fixed penalty tickets from the time they are issued to when they are paid. Along with their colleagues, the demerit points processing officer will apply demerit points where necessary.
These new carbonless ticket books mirror the electronic ticket, and the issuance, administration, and audit of these books will be led by the Traffic Enforcement Center to ensure full compliance by law enforcement officers.
Law enforcement officers can issue a manual ticket only in instances where the technology has failed and the officer must enter that ticket into the U-Turn system within 24 hours. This information is immediately transmitted to the Traffic Enforcement Center, TT Post, and TTPS.
The Traffic Enforcement Center acts as the human eye to ensure that the system operates in accordance with the legislation. It advises the licensing authority on the suspension of permits and the freezing of driving and vehicle records for non-payment of traffic tickets.
The red light camera enforcement system will use automated detection mechanisms which will photograph and record all vehicles violating the red light. These red light processing officers will review the raw footage to determine if a breach did occur. An inspection officer is the final step in determining if a breach did or did not occur. A citation notice is then generated and delivered via TT Post courier service to the registered owner or owners of the vehicle. The owner of the vehicle has the opportunity to file a notice to contest via the online customer portal within the stipulated time frame. The information is then transmitted to the Traffic Enforcement Center and an electronic case file is prepared. This electronic case file is then transmitted to the Judiciary Magistrates Court via the U-Turn software. Once the court determines a ruling, the result of the case will be transmitted to the Traffic Enforcement Center and the driver's record is updated.
No longer will the court be required to transmit information to the licensing authority using a paper-based system. This will eliminate the practice of citizens falsifying information about court convictions and orders to get duplicate driving permits. If a person is convicted of an offense or traffic violation that carries demerit points, the prescribed points shall be recorded against the driver's record.
The demerit points register has two categories of drivers: newly licensed drivers and experienced drivers. The number of demerit points accumulated also determines the period of suspension for a driver. Once the demerit point officer has determined that a driver is due for disqualification, a letter is forwarded from the Traffic Enforcement Center via TT Post courier to the owner of the vehicle indicating the licensing authority's intention to impose necessary sanctions. The offender will now have 14 days to respond to the licensing authority to show cause as to why he or she should not be disqualified.
Under the new legislation, driving an uninspected vehicle carries 9 demerit points, We can see in the case of a newly licensed driver where the threshold is 7 or more demerit points, that person can easily have their permit suspended for a period of 6 months from one traffic stop.
The engine room of the Traffic Enforcement Center comprises a cadre of highly skilled analysts who underwent a rigid recruitment system inclusive of polygraph testing and background checks.
To ensure transparency and maintain the integrity of the U-turn system, the Traffic Enforcement Center will be subjected to robust internal and external audits to deter corrupt practices. In the near future, I envision that the Traffic Enforcement Center and the U-turn system will have a profound impact on the driving culture in Trinidad and Tobago.
The Traffic Enforcement Center will therefore guide Trinidad and Tobago into a new era of 21st century traffic enforcement by utilizing modern technological advancements that places our Twin Island Republic on par with other developed countries around the world.